Says the Torah in Parashat Ki Tisa, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling Moshe Rabbeinu to have a census. Chachamim say, why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu need to count Am Yisrael? Says this is one of the ways that HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows us that He loves us. Because when someone loves something, they like to count it. It's like when somebody likes his jewels. He likes to open them up again and see, oh, look, I have this ruby. Oh, and this diamond. Oh, and this. Oh, and but you already know what you have. You have it on a computer. You have it in written on a piece of paper. You've already advertised it on the internet. You've advertised it to your friend. The whole world knows how much you have. Why do you have to keep looking at it? I like them. Oh, same thing with money. People that like their money, every 5 minutes, they look at their stock account. Every few minutes, in the middle of a shiur Torah sometimes, you'll see a guy looking at his portfolio on TD Ameritrade. What do you think happened in the last 15 minutes? Oh, maybe it went up, maybe it went down. What can you do about it anyway? It already went up or it already went down. What can you possibly do about it? He likes it. Somebody likes things, they like to look at it. Not to say that's the right thing to do. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is showing us that he shows us how He likes us, how He loves us. But when a person likes money, when a person likes his jewels a little too much, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. But nonetheless, there is a new insight. A new insight that we saw from this first couple of verses. It's relevant to what the prophet Isaiah says. כי תישא את ראש בני ישראל לפקודיהם, ונתנו איש כופר נפשו לאדוני, בפקוד אותם, ולא יהיה בהם נגף בפקוד אותם. It says, when you take, let's see, in the verse number 12, chapter 30, second verse of the parasha, Hashem says to Moshe, when you take a census of the children of Israel, according to their numbers, every man shall give Hashem an atonement, a kofer, for his soul when counting them, so that there will not be a plague among them when counting them. So here we see that the word kofer has multiple meanings. One of the meanings is that it's an atonement. Somebody has to give an atonement. You give a tzedakah, you want to do tikkun abrit, you want to do tikkun chilul Shabbat, you want to do tikkun nida, you want to do tikkun of all the types of sins. A person that wants to completely eliminate these sins from their records, first and foremost, they have to stop sinning. Second of all, they have to make a commitment not to sin again. Third, they have to regret the sin, cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And another thing that they can do, our sages teach us, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Arizal, the Baal HaTanya, many Gdolim discuss the issues of tikkunim and say, after you've done those other critical steps, first you've stopped the sin, you've committed not to sin, and you've done everything else, and you want to still take out that last piece of smudge, recollection of that sin, you got to do a tikkun. What's tikkun? In the past, there used to be fasts. Person wasted seed. One time, he'd have to fast 84 times. 84 times, Hashem Yishmo. Today, person can barely fast for Yom Kippur one time. So Chamim say, well, instead of fasting, do a tikkun. What's a tikkun? Replace that fast with money. However much money the average person, it costs them to eat per day, let's say, just call it, let's say, I don't know, $10, $10 or $5, let's say. $5 times 84, that's 420. That is a atonement, a tikkun, for a single time that a person wasted seed. If a person was with a nida, it's a different number of fasts. I believe it's 87 fasts. If it's a chilul Shabbat, if it's a with a goya, if it's a homosexuality, each one of these different tikkunim have a different number. And there's anyone that's interested in these numbers, the Arizal put it together according to the teachings of the Zohar, the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. This is on our website, tikkunabrit.live. T as in tikkun, IKKUNHABRIT.LIV. Tikkun abrit, so you could live. So you could read over there, even if you don't donate, you don't do any tikkunim, it's good to know these things. Why? Because a person needs to understand how much they're in debt for at the very minimum, even after they did tshuva. Now, of course, many people say, oh, this salat, I don't know. I was sinning for the first, 20 years of my life. I have to be a billionaire just to do these tikkunim. Take it easy. Take it easy. Hold on a second. No one's telling you have to do everything all in one day. All HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying is, first of all, do the real tshuva. Stop the sin. Do all the other first few steps. If you've done all of those, you're doing all of those, you have a little bit of money, you have a job, you have a savings, you have something, do whatever you can. Do whatever you can. But what's the problem? The problem is that the person is really, that same word, kofer, that means atonement, also means kofer. Kofer is a heretic. Kofer is a heretic. That person, all of a sudden, says, no, I believe everything, it's all good, but listen, it can't be. It can't be if this is right. What, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai made a mistake? The Arizal made a mistake? What, you think that we're making a living off of this? What's the mistake? No, I don't understand, I don't know, it's just too much, it's too this, too that, I don't know if I'll make it, I don't know if it's worth it. Don't do it, it's for you. Why does he have that? Because he's a little bit of a heretic. What happens? A person sometimes will think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu only gave him money so he could have a good time. He'd go buy a second burger. He'd go buy a second car. He'd go buy a $20,000 watch. He can go buy a third house that he doesn't need. He can go do all these other things. But to use that money for Torah, all of a sudden, I don't know if I have enough. I don't know if this. I don't know if that. Becomes a little bit of a heretic. Why? Heretic in a sense that either he doesn't think that Hashem is going to give him enough, or he simply doesn't believe that parts of the words of the sages or the Torah itself are real all of a sudden. All of a sudden he has doubts. All of a sudden he has... Why? Because you're taking away his false god called money. So what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu say to us? It says to us, V'natnu ish kofer nafsho LaHashem, that each person will give this atonement to Hashem. And what I saw out of this is that if a person really wants to do tshuva, they have to give a kofer to Hashem. But not kofer that's always money. Kofer meaning the heretic inside us. The heretic inside us, each and every one of us has a little bit of heresy in us. A little bit sometimes. The less we learn, the more heresy we have. The more we watch the news, the more we watch shtuyot, the more we're addicted to sports and movies and all that other garbage, the more heresy we have in us. All of a sudden you have a question, this and that, and you don't really care enough about the answer. Why? Because when push comes to shove and you have to make a big commitment, all of a sudden, oh yeah, but I don't know if it's this and I don't know if it's that. Wait, why didn't you ask those questions when the shiur was on? The heretic comes out. So a person that wants to seriously do tshuva has to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu that heresy, meaning get rid of it, get rid of that heresy. And sometimes that heresy begins and ends with an addiction to money, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Yitnu kol ha'oved et ha'pekudim MaChatzit HaShekel, that all of those people should give what? In order to get rid of this, to save themselves from the plague, to save themselves from corona, to save themselves from heresy in the world, to save themselves, they should give what? MaChatzit HaShekel, money. Should give money. But don't think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs your money or needs anything from you. In fact, all HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from everybody is whatever they can. What does it mean, whatever they can? Ashir lo yarbeh ve'adal lo yam'it. A person that's wealthy, you don't need to give everything. And a person that's wealthy, doesn't have a lot, don't think that you're absolved from everything. Everybody gives whatever they can. Everybody gives whatever they can. For what? It's for you. It's lechaper al nafshotechem. This is to atone for your own lives. Your tzedakah money is for you. It's not for Hashem. Hashem doesn't need your money. Your money that you put in tikkunim is for you. It's not for Hashem. And what ends up happening is when a person realizes this, that the only reason they didn't donate at least maaser, at least 10% of their income, the only reason they didn't contribute, the only reason they didn't do all these other things is really because of a little bit of heresy. Heresy that comes from an addiction to money. Heresy when it comes from the jealousy in other people. Heresy that comes from where they doubt whether this is good or this is not. And really, What HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying is you're forgetting that this is all for you. This is all for you. Let me know what you think, and make sure to share it, because other people need to learn too.